Post-Human: The Life After Man by Mauricio Vares. What comes after man? What are the limits of humanity, of the body, of the mind, of the soul? What happens when you stop sanctifying man? When the body stops being a temple? When we stop thinking we were made in the image of God? And we take on our own hands the job of transforming nature into something new, something more similar to what we desire, what we want to be or want to obtain. How important it might be to create a balance among body, mind, and soul. What defines how far we can go? How much can we change before we stop being considered human? Have we advanced or retreated as society? Is the equivalent of exchange real? Because everything seems to indicate that the only constant is change. In this book, Mauricio Vares explores different aspects of what is called posthumanism. At the beginning, we are asked to question the validity of concepts such as science fiction, of what contributes to society to see humanity from another perspective, a new perspective that does not necessarily move away from what we are currently, but simply that make us see our reality from another point of view, accentuating and mitigating the different components that make our society what it is today, according to the message that the author wishes to transmit, either by making a man ideologically the center of the universe, or remove it from the center, putting another being in our focus of attention, or dividing men into different species, subtly accentuating concepts such as racism, sexism, status, and other concepts that divide us today, also creating scenarios in which the essence of man is questioned, where the loss or change of values or ideals lead to shady futures, difficult to imagine and visualize, not because they are nonsensical, but because they are very close to what we consider our reality. For Mauricio Vares, posthumanism implies the death of man as a concept, as a discourse, and as a concrete construction, since the man enjoys a great level of complexity, accompanied by the same level of imperfections. The author seeks, through this essay, to continue a discussion that has been going on for many years. Within its examples, it raises the question of the validity of man as a discourse, and if this and the systems that give it body are deconstructed, where these discussions lead us. In what way does it affect us in our daily life? And if it is possible that we or other people make this post-humanist philosophy its own, that is, one that questions, deconstructs, and ends with a man as a central story. This leads us to question the essence of man and where are we heading, how technological and social changes open new doors for us, new possibilities, how the concepts of the past disagree with those of the present and possibly with those of the future. In physical terms, our body is accompanied by concepts like beauty, aesthetic, and anatomy, with its origins, manifestations, its uses, and alterations. These are many concepts with different levels of complexity and very extensive. So in the first stage of the book, the author decides to focus on something concrete, how certain individuals carry out multiple plastic surgeries in their bodies for purely aesthetic purposes. They reach to be as beautiful as they wanted. As in the case of Cindy Jackson, who took this concept to new levels, both in fame and in reaching out to support people who wanted to do the same. Regardless of whether the results were very similar to hers, she proved to be in favor to make it easier for others to transform their bodies to what they want. This is a more extreme example, which leads us to question even more subtle and temporary changes, such as the use of makeup and other cosmetics that alter the appearance of people. Move away from the natural to adopt what is done by men. How far can you go? What is socially acceptable? Concepts like the truth, reality, and imagination come to the surface. Now this is the point of no return inside the book. Until now, everything had been a quiet trip in which brief philosophical ideas were presented, giving us enough time to contemplate and reflect on them. But from here on out, the author begins to make leaps of logic left and right, without quarter. The impossible is possible tonight. Next, we enter the realm of pornography. Until next time. Tonight, 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 Tonight